I, Ryan,
I, Ryan,
take you, Janiyah,
take you, Janiyah,
to be my wife,
be my beautiful wife,
for better or for worse.
better or worse.
I, Janiyah,
I, Janiyah,
take you, Ryan,
take you, Ryan,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
for better or for worse.
for better or for worse.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 9 of our podcast, For Better, For Worse, For Real. Today, we're going to get into some parenting questions. But before we do that, we want to kick it off with our weekly check-in. Just get with you to see how this week has been for you individually, and then how you think everything's gone for us as a couple.
Individually, I've been on a roller coaster of emotions, going through just some personal stuff with my family and the loss in the family. So it's been kind of rough. But between us, it's been great. I think that we're at such a level now in our relationship where we're communicating effectively, and especially during this time of kind of grief in my life, just the way you've been there for me and, continuing to ask, is there anything I can do? I'm very happy. And yeah, actually thinking back on this week between us has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of love in the air between us, physically and emotionally.
Oh my God.
Where you been at this week?
Yeah, really just to kind of piggyback off of you, I really have just been trying to figure out what's the best way that I can show up for you as you are navigating through grief right now. So yeah, just trying to be present with you and allow you the space to feel the things that you need to feel and still be, available in every other area of life that I need to be available in. Other than that, I think for us as a couple, we've been like this past week, I think we've been spending a lot more time together, kind of like how we were around the holidays. So we've really have just been growing closer and have just been connecting. And so that's been great. It's been nice.
All right. So today's episode, we're going to have 20 questions all about parenting, right?
Yes, yes. For those of you who do not know, we have 3 kids together. We have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Right.
So these are all about them, basically. All right. So first question is, what kind of adults do we hope each of our kids becomes?
Man, I think this is an answer that I would hope that a lot of parents would have for their kids. And that's they're good kids, and we hope that they become responsible, independent adults where they know right from wrong, that they feel like they can always come home. And I want them to be leaders and be able to be themselves, never feel like they have to step outside of their character to impress anybody. I want them to find true love. I want them to be kind, generous, sweet, honest people. I want them to be respectful. I want them to look at our relationship and see how to treat someone that they're in love with. I hope that they're successful.
Yeah.
And I just want them to be comfortable being themselves and just know that they're always welcome at home. And I just trust that everybody's going to make mistakes in life.
Right.
But they always feel comfortable being honest with us and just, always doing the right thing, having a conscience, being strong in their faith. And
Absolutely.
that's up to us, I think, right now, is instilling all of these morals and values in them.
Yeah.
So that they can become good people in this world.
Absolutely. The goal is to not raise little a-holes. You took my answer. I mean, everything that you said, I pretty much am spot on with. I hope that they grow up to be kind, compassionate, and empathetic people. I pray that they will still care about others as they become adults. And I pray that they are all very strong in their faith and they have a strong walk with God. And yeah, I pray that they are successful in every area of their life, that they do what they love, that they can travel and, do all the things that we either did not do or put a hold on.
Yeah, I want them to live their dreams and do whatever they want. But them moving across the country would be tough. Like if they followed their dreams and they moved out of state somewhere, out the country, and we only got to see them once every blue moon, that would be the toughest thing for me. But just knowing that they're happy is the most important thing for me.
I feel like Leo, our 6-year-old, it would be the person that would most likely move out of state or do the whole travel abroad thing.
Yeah, I don't even
Oh,
think
God.
about it. Yeah, I really don't want to think about it. That's the part where I would become the most sad, is that one day they grow up and leave home, and you never know how often they'll come back and visit. So I want to make sure that we create a home where they always feel safe and comfortable coming back to.
Absolutely. No matter what age.
Number 2 says, what values do we want to be most obvious in our home?
I think really we just kind of touched on this in the first question. So obviously there's kindness, compassion, just being strong in your faith, honesty, respect. Those are obviously the big ones.
Yeah, I agree with, all good things, all good morals and values. We want them to be honest, respectful, kind and generous, but also I want them to have a lot of self-esteem, like high self-esteem. And
yes.
So having a good moral compass, but also believing in themselves, that anything in this world is possible. I want them to chase their dreams and feel comfortable asking for help if they need it, that they don't have to do everything alone.
Right.
I just want them to be happy and feel comfortable talking to us, where I don't ever want to feel like I don't know them anymore, and that they're so scared to talk about what's going on in their personal life.
Right. Out of fear that we don't understand. We won't get it because we're parents and we were never in their shoes at any point in our life. We probably did that to our parents. Alrighty. Do you feel like we're parenting as a team right now?
We learn from each other. I think that we teach each other a lot, because we parent a little differently. So I think that you do a lot of work with the children, such as getting them up and ready for school when I'm already at work. That's a big responsibility. So I love being able to get off work in time to help you pick them up. And I think we just have different roles, where I think it's just as important that I play with them, that I'm fun and I can run around the house playing hide and seek, and I can play video games or board games with them. I think that those things are just as important as sitting and doing homework. But I feel like we're on the same team, but we play different roles.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're their mother, and you do a lot of motherly things, like get them ready for school, get them dressed when it's time to go places. You do handle a lot of their meals. I pitch in with, a fair share of that stuff too. But what I like to do is play with them and give them life lessons. Right? So we play different roles, but we're on the same team.
Right. And I think that's pretty much, that's parenting in a nutshell. Everybody has to have their own place on the team, but it still has to be a team. I feel like we are now. I don't feel like, I have not always felt that way. There was like that good cop, bad cop thing, where it was like, mommy's always the bad guy because she's trying to tell you that you can't do something, but daddy wants you to have fun and have a good time. So it's like, obviously you're going to go with what dad says, but that's not what's happening.
I think that there was finding a good balance between learning from each other, where you're learning to play more and I'm learning to
disciplinary,
not just discipline, but
keeping them, I don't know, keeping them on the straight and narrow, I guess. Having them mind their manners. So like my number one pet peeve is kids who have no manners. I can't stand a kid with no manners. So I make sure mine have those, just little things like that. But right now I would say that we're pretty solid. We tag team different issues. And
for sure.
Yeah. We're more of a united front now. So that's good. Yeah.
Where do you think we're strongest as parents?
I think for you, how big you are on making everything into a life lesson. Not everything has to be I guess because you don't resort to immediate punishment. You don't resort to a spanking and getting sent to your room. Like everything that these kids do, whether it is something positive or negative, you try to expose the big picture lesson to them in everything that they do. And then also just kind of how big you are on creating those important memories with them that they're going to hold on to for the rest of their life. Because I feel like childhood shapes everything.
For sure. I really feel like, everything you just said, but I mean, just like, I think that showing them that they're loved, is one of the biggest things that they have, is that they know that we love them and we show that and we play with them and we give them things. Like, I think that they know for a fact they're loved. I think that's our strongest trait in them right now is, they feel very comfortable being around us 24/7 because they feel safe and loved.
A little too comfortable. Can't get no space from these kids. Alrighty. Where do you think we need to grow?
I think maybe we could have a little bit more patience, and I think life has us overstimulated a lot and tired, and they're just kids, and they create a lot of noise that's gets overstimulating. So a lot of times we're like, go watch that in your room, go do this, whatever. But I think just trying to get as much rest as we can when we can, so that we're not so overstimulated and we can have patience when they're asking questions that make no sense. And just trying to understand their kids, and just I think that's our biggest area.
Yeah, no, I would agree 100%. Patience is key, especially since there's so many of them and we are outnumbered. Really just trying to find those moments where we can regulate our nervous systems and get our own emotions under control so that we can be as patient with them as possible, because they are still learning everything. So yeah, and I guess more so I could be more hands-on with them. I'm not a very hands-on, get down on the floor type of mom, but they appreciate that from time to time, play a video game or whatever the case may be.
What's something unique about our oldest child that we should nurture more intentionally?
That kid, he is a very anxious child. And that is something I feel like we not necessarily nurture his anxiety, but his confidence, I would say, is something that needs to be nurtured more intentionally, because he's so anxious all the time. We have to really pour into him, into his self-esteem and his confidence, I would say, is the number one thing for him.
I guess I would agree. And saying something unique about him, I thought might be more of what's special about him that we should pour into more.
Oh, sorry.
That's what I thought.
Dial back.
But
something unique.
But listening to your answer, I guess,
you're good at video games. You'd be a good coder. You know how to code as a kid.
But what about how much of a perfectionist that he tries to be, that maybe there's areas, something that would put that to the best use.
Gotcha. Okay. Maybe trying to push him in directions where that is a valuable trait, because otherwise he's just going to drive himself crazy. That's why I always make the comment, like, that's going to be our future engineer, because he's very precise about certain things. And that's the life of an engineer, I feel like.
What does our middle child need from us right now that they may not be getting?
Middle child, Leo, what does he need? He needs, I feel like, because he's a middle child, he may be the one that needs more one-on-one time, because he's just stuck in the middle. So more just kind of talking to him and finding out more about his interests, because he doesn't seem to have very clearly defined interests. He just goes along with whatever Maddox says. So I would say really taking the time to kind of figure him out a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's what I would have said too, is that trying to help him figure out who he is and what he likes, becoming his own person.
Right.
And then how can we better understand our youngest's personality?
Audrey is the only girl and she's the youngest and she has a very big personality. So for her, I guess, I don't know, we have to put ourselves in the mind of a 4-year-old girl sometimes. You know, she's very much so into everything girly, everything pink, everything glitter, nails, makeup. Like that's her.
Very into her imaginative state.
Right. She gets down on the floor and she's playing with her dolls and she's doing different voices and coming up with different scenarios and yeah, I think the best thing for us is to just kind of, I don't know, be in that space with her. So when she's asking us to play with her, you know, do all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that I think she's been coming to us a lot with every week it seems like she's into something new, like ballet or dance or playing with this doll or that princess or this costume, whatever it is. Us just being able to get down and spend that one-on-one time, and I think we've been doing that a lot lately. Every time she's begging for attention, I think we've been giving a lot of it.
She just wants to be seen. They all want to be seen, but I think even more than the boys, she wants to be seen by everybody. Okay. Do you think we treat them differently? If so, is it healthy or unintentional?
I think that only because I think all of their personalities are a little bit different and the way that they respond. I think that not that we treat them differently, we treat them appropriately. Like,
right. Accordingly.
Right. They all get the same rules. Like, it's all fair, but it's all based on we know how they'll react to certain things. Like our oldest, he needs a lot more one-on-one time when it comes to homework. So he gets that from us because he needs it. So that might be something where it's not like we're treating them differently. We're treating them like this one needs this from us. This one needs less of this.
Right.
So we're treating them fairly and accordingly, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that we treat them differently because to your point, everybody has the same rules and the same expectations. I think that our method of getting each child to reach those expectations or to follow those rules has to be different because of how they are. Maddox is the most sensitive one out of all of them. So we have to take a certain approach to him when it comes to saying things to him because his little feelings get hurt very easily versus, you know, the other two, you can be a little bit more direct with them because they understand, you know, straightforwardness in that aspect. So I would say we just have to take a different route. But everybody around here gets treated the same. There's really no huge difference.
Yeah. Oh, me, is it on me? Which child do you think I connect with most easily? And which do you think you connect with the most?
That is a really great question, only because I don't know how to answer the second part. The child I think you connect with most easily, obviously, is Maddox. That's our first child. That's y'all have a special relationship, special bond. So I would say that that's the one that you connect most easily with.
Yeah, you know what? I think that it's really evolving though with like the other two have really latched on lately where I feel like Leo was such a mama's boy at first, but he's doing things that he normally wouldn't do. Like every day when I come home from work, how I get greeted at the door if they're already home. Sometimes he's lingering behind, or he doesn't even come at all. Not out of a lack of love, but out of he's so like never used to really care for cuddles and all this stuff. But it was like now he's rushing to the door to greet me. He's intentionally coming to tell me goodnight and give me hugs and kisses at nighttime, which he doesn't really care for those type of things usually. So it's like he's becoming so much more like he loves making me proud. I think I've been doing he has been making me proud a lot, but it's like me telling him that and showing up and make sure he knows that has really, I've seen a lot of closeness from him. So,
He's coming on board.
yeah. And then obviously Audrey has kind of always been between the both of us, but she is uh, she's just very clingy to both of us. But yeah, I'd say still just me and Maddox, just because we've known each other the longest, I guess.
And he was definitely a daddy's boy.
Yeah.
I just gave birth to him and fed him, but for the most part, he always seemed to be pretty tight with you. I think the kid that I connect the most with, I would probably have to say Audrey, just because she's like my only girl, and because she's so into all the girly things. And I was a boy mom, for 4 years before she came around. I thought I was going to be a boy mom forever, but then she came and she shook things up, and now I get to do the whole Barbie dolls and nails and hair and makeup and all those fun girly things. So yeah, I would say Audrini.
Mm.
Are we consistent with consequences?
Consequences. I'm trying to really think. I think that one, they don't get in trouble that much because they're really good kids. Go to your room when you're back talking. We're pretty consistent in that.
Yeah,
You're fussing a lot. You're taking a nap. What's a consequence? What are we talking about here?
I would take that as like a discipline type of thing. You do this and this game is getting taken away or whatever. I feel like we could probably tighten up a little bit with those, because sometimes we do kind of let stuff fall through the cracks. But I would say for the most part, our kids understand. And especially, again, our oldest, he's very big on reinforcing rules to everybody else in the house.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be real quick to tell everybody, "Oh, mommy said you can't have this until you do this," or whatever.
All right, next one says, do we correct behavior in a way that builds them up or tears them down?
I think that we do it in a way that builds them up, because I think that we, again, kind of like how I was saying earlier about how you turn things into a life lesson. So I think for them, it's more so like not a lecture, but we have to explain why we're doing these things and why they matter in the long run. So I think that in turn kind of builds up what turns into their character and how they're going to behave with these things going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not big on spankings unless it's something egregious, right? Like if they're really yelling, it's being extremely disrespectful after being told something and something again and again, time after time. Like it's a certain point when they cross this line, it has to be something like that. But for the most part, that's rare that happens. I would rather talk to them and say, give them a 5-minute talk and say why, like you said, why this is important. Like just recently, I had to give our oldest a talk about, one, always being honest, right? Stop telling those little lies. And then two, why it's important to be nice to your younger siblings, where you purposely do something to make them upset.
Right.
I'm not going to just send you to your room or give you what does giving you a spanking or sending you to bed? That might be a form of discipline, but I would rather, if we can, talk about it. And if you're, we just did this. He was being mean to our daughter, right? I go talk to him, explain to him why it's important that we don't do that. He comes downstairs. One, I want to make sure they're giving real apologies. Something I've been working on all of them with is giving real apologies. Not I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what, right? So, and make sure you're speaking to them where they can hear you. Giving real apologies, giving hugs, making sure the other person's okay, and then spending time with them to show them that you are sorry. So, I'd rather do that than I would prefer you not to be in trouble. I prefer you understand this is how we should be doing things.
What's one discipline habit we should adjust?
I don't think we have any that we need to adjust. I think that, in my opinion, we're pretty fair. And if it's you hurt somebody, right? And what I think we have levels of disciplinary where one, you're receiving a talk, two, you're going to your room, three, like you're going like not just to your room to say, right, we're taking devices away, you're going to bed. You're not sitting in your room just watching TV and separating.
Yeah.
You're going to bed to take a nap or something. And then where it's super extreme, you might get a spanking, right?
Mm.
And there's levels that we feel are appropriate for everything they do. And it's like, I think that we do a great job of being consistent in which actions lead to which disciplinary action.
Yes. Yeah, there's really not too much, I would say there's not too much tweaking or adjusting that's needed. I think everything is pretty fair across the board on this. So
We got, people watching that are so against spankings that will get cussed out for even mentioning it. Are we too strict, too lenient, or balanced?
I think that we're pretty balanced parents.
I think we're
more lenient than anything.
Yeah, that's what I would say, that we're pretty lenient, but it is balanced, where I don't think that they think we're strict, but I think that we're so lenient that anytime we are strict, they're just like, you guys suck.
Yeah.
You're the worst.
They don't know how to receive that properly. I think, I don't know. This may be a question where we like have to separate ourselves. Like, I'm probably more on the stricter side than you are.
Yeah, only because I am pretty lenient, but when it's time to be strict, like I feel like I let a lot of stuff slide because I'd rather give the lessons in there where you're quicker to jump to punishment, or I'm quicker to, hey, let's see if we can talk to them first before we do it. And then if it's not working, then I say, you know what? Yeah, they ain't listening to this, so go ahead.
Alrighty. How do we handle conflict between the kids, and is it working?
I mean, they get along when they get along, and they fight when they fight. It's like
there's more fighting than getting along at this point, I feel like.
How do we handle conflict between them? Geez, I mean, a lot of times it's just telling them y'all better play nice and making them think that something's gonna happen. But so is that working? Just saying y'all better play nice?
No, it's not, because they don't.
Yeah,
I think it's just it's partly due to Maddox and his perfectionism and how he wants to be in control of everything, and Leo is a very free-spirited, just do whatever, and that irritates Maddox.
Right, because especially if you're doing like a story mode or something, you're supposed to play it a certain way, and Leo's just like, yeah, who cares?
Yeah, Leo's not he's a rule follower when it counts, but in regular life, he just does things on his own terms, and Maddox does not like that.
And then, you got Audrey, who just wants to be included in everything. Obviously, she's 4 and does not understand how to play or doesn't understand rules. So having to get them, the boys, to understand, hey, just let her play. Just, you know what I'm saying? So that causes a lot of conflict between them, though, and us having to step in and say, hey, chill, relax. So one form of us resolving their conflict is y'all better play nice, blah, blah. The next way is separating them.
Yeah, making everybody go do their own thing.
And that works for the most part. Once we separate them, they kind of chill out. And then they, on their own, get back together and they're playing nice.
Because when one doesn't want, if one kid wants another kid to play with them and the kid does not want to play, then it is a meltdown. He won't play with me. Well, he can't do that all the time.
Yeah, that's the question, though, is what we do to handle their stuff working. And it's like, yeah, temporarily until the next dang conflict,
Yeah.
It's just like all day playing nice, fussing and fighting. They're playing nice, and it's just a roller coaster. But I guess that's siblings for you.
And that's what I was going to say. I think that's just the sibling dynamic.
Do our kids feel emotionally safe coming to us?
I would say yes. I would say 2 out of the 3 do. The oldest, like I said, because he gets nervous. Sometimes we have to pry information out of him to get him to be okay
Mhm.
talking about those things, which I honestly will say that he's doing a lot better with now. The other day, something happened between me and him. He did something that I thought was funny, so I laughed, and then he like kind of looked like he was about to start crying. So I had to stop and kind of ask him, hey, what's going on? Why are you? What about this is making you emotional? And he just flat out was like, I'm embarrassed, and he had never like been vocal, that vocal about his emotions before. So I was like, okay, well, what about this is embarrassing to you? And we had to have a little conversation about that. So I think that he is definitely coming around, and the other 2 really have no problem voicing their emotional opinions or frustrations to us whatsoever.
Well, I do think that when they do something that say one of them broke something, nobody wants to speak up because they think that they're gonna get in trouble, and a lot of times they don't. We're just like, uh, so I think that out of fear of getting in trouble, which they rarely get in, um, those times they feel a little scared to do. I think maybe that's just in the nature of a kid, but
Yeah.
only those times do they feel like they're scared to tell us something because they think they'll get in trouble.
Irrational fear most of the time.
Yeah.
How can we create more one-on-one time with each child?
You know what? I was actually talking to a coworker about this the other day. Something that I want to be intentional with them about is I want to do a lot more one-on-one dates with them where uh, I can take them, each one of them, somewhere and do something, just me and them and bond. And then you take them, not all of them, but
Oh,
each
one child.
one separately and do something specific to what they like. I create a special day for each one and you do the same. It's something that I want to start doing because I feel like what it was I was talking to my coworker about lately our oldest has kind of been lashing out a little bit.
Yeah.
Every now and then it just seems just like, whoa, you are not a teenager yet.
Pump your brakes, kid.
So what my coworker told me is that, maybe he's starting to feel also that we're giving attention to the younger siblings, that now he's feeling like, what happened to all the time we used to spend together, And so I was like, damn, it would be a really good idea to intentionally prioritize one-on-one time with each of them so that they still feel that. Like imagine when we go to like Stars and Strikes and it's all of us and they each want our attention to go do this, go do. Imagine just being able to do that with each one of them and doing whatever they want. I think will be healthy.
It would make for a much easier experience. This was something, honestly, that I really wanted to do when I was pregnant with, especially, well, obviously the last 2. Like I really wanted to do one-on-one time, like dates with Maddox before Leo showed up. And then I wanted to do the same thing with Leo before Audrey showed up. And unfortunately never got around to doing that. So that is something that I would actually love to start doing with him.
What traditions or routines should we start to strengthen our bond as a family?
Well, this is a great question because we've already started doing this. We've already begun the weekly tradition of going to McDonald's every Friday with them. And they love it. They look forward to it every week. It's how they keep track of the days of the week.
Right, literally jump in the car straight from when we pick them up. McDonald's Friday.
Yeah, they they already know what to expect on Fridays, and that yeah, they love doing that. They
Right.
go
And also that devotional book they got for Christmas, that one
Yes.
already saying grace, sitting at dinner table for dinner, we say grace going around the table, and then reading out that devotional book are really, really great.
Right. We've already gotten into it's already started the habit of the moment that we're done with grace, Leo will grab the book off the table and either he's starting to volunteer to read pages of it. So that's been great.
Yeah, that, and then I just want to try to incorporate specific game nights and movie nights. you know, put those on the calendar so that they got more things to look forward to.
Yeah, they like when we go all out for movie nights, when we bring out the inflatable chairs and the popcorn buckets and make a production out of it.
Shout out to your mom for that.
Shout out to my mother for starting that. They're bougie now and they will not watch a movie without their inflatable chairs, popcorn buckets, their movie snack boxes. So yeah. Alrighty. How do we want to handle tough topics as they grow?
I want to make sure that they trust us. I've already told them, and I'll continue to tell them, that they can always come to us, always feel safe coming to us. And because as they grow, their friends and their peers will become more influential to them than we are. And I want to make sure that they learn from us first before they have to go out into the world with their friends and going through their, teenage or young adult phase where I don't ever want them to say, my mom and dad never taught me about this. And then they're just learning from their friends who really don't know either. So I want to make sure that we're honest with them and that I want to be their first teacher and make sure that we give them honest information so that they make the best choices for them. So I want to make sure that what I've been telling them is that there will be peer pressure and there will be times where I want them to know right from wrong and that they're able to walk away from situations that they're uncomfortable with.
Right.
And don't worry about being called names and stuff. I want to make sure that they have a great moral compass. So I want to make sure that we do talk to them about those tough topics because they need to hear. Like, I don't want to just avoid shit that they feel like mom and dad never talked to me about this because they was uncomfortable. If they got a question, we're talking about it. And I want to make sure that they feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah. And I have some personal experience with this of certain topics that I didn't really get to hear from my parents about and had to find out either from just being around other people or freaking internet. And to highlight a point that you made about us being their first teacher, I think is really important. Everything starts in the home and having those conversations. I just recently had to have a tough conversation with the boys, regarding the loss that we are dealing with in our family and just trying to explain that to them while they're still in a very naive and innocent stage of their lives, but wanting to make sure that I explain it in a way that they will get, and then trying to follow up and say, do you guys have any questions about anything? So that I, feel like they can, they can say that to me, that they can come to us about that type of stuff. So
Our last question is, when our kids look back at their childhood, what do we hope they remember most?
I hope that they remember that they were deeply loved and that everything that we did since they've been born, every decision that we've ever made has always been with them in mind first. And that, yeah, we've gone up to the ends of the earth for them and will continue to do so for the rest of their lives. Like, that doesn't stop when they become adults, graduate, and go out. Like, we will continue to do that. We will continue to be there for them. We will continue to be their safe space in every stage of their lives. And I'm about to start crying because I'm imagining them being adults and it's hurting my mommy heart.
Yeah. That's it, man, that they can look back and see. That's why I think it's so important that we start taking those more pictures together as a family, because I want them to know I want them to always remember how loving our family is, and all we want to do is make them feel loved and safe and have fun with them and teach them right from wrong.
Yeah.
I want them to, like you said, always feel like it's safe for them to come home. Like we are their safe space. So no matter how old they get, they'll know that they're welcome home and that they're loved and accepted no matter what.
Absolutely. As we just talked about in a previous episode, this is the only unconditional love relationship that we have is with them. And I'm about to start crying, so I won't stop. Oh, my babies. All right. Now that I get my emotions under control. Oh. So thank you guys for joining us for this episode. We hope you got something good out of it. Let us know in the comments, kind of what your thoughts were on this episode and give us some insight into how you parent. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials at For Better, For Worse, For Real. And we'll see y'all in the next episode.
Peace.